and welcome to Diamonds and Duds. I'm Ivan.
And I'm Charles.
Welcome to episode 23, Alien Earth.
Yeah, this will be the first one we've done of a currently releasing show.
Yeah, it was something I was very excited to watch.
Yeah, same here. So, coming out right now, like literally not all the episodes are out.
Exactly, yeah.
So, 2025, when a mysterious deep space research vessel, USCSS Maginot, crash lands on Earth, Wendy and a ragtag group of tactical soldiers make a fateful discovery that will put them face to face with the planet's greatest threat.
And this was directed by Noah Hawley. You probably don't recognize that name, but he's the guy who wrote the movie Fargo.
Yeah.
And this got 95% so far from the critics and 72% from the audience, which I thought was a little odd. But yeah, it's some people probably watched it not kind of dumb and not knowing.
Yeah, I can. As we'll get into it, yeah, I thought that is a bit of a big discrepancy between like the, Rotten Tomatoes and the audience score. As we'll get into later, I have theories as to why the difference is there.
And we'll get into it. I do like how they let the movie breathe a little bit.
Yeah.
Or not movie, the show breathe a little bit.
Yeah.
They kind of let stuff develop.
Yeah, and as we do with shows, we're going to cover the first 3 episodes. I think there's 6 deep right now. Just a little, for those of you that are really like diehard Alien fans, just fair warning, those of you that are big into Prometheus and Covenant, this show does not acknowledge the existence. Noah Hawley is on record saying he does not think he does not like what those 2 movies did in terms of the Alien, and so he does not consider them canon in this at all.
But I would also say, if you're huge fans of those, it's not like this is going to ruin those either. It just pretends they don't exist.
Yeah, exactly. Noah Hawley is just on record. He hasn't bashed everything. He feels that the originals, which painted the aliens as just kind of the ultimate in natural evolution in the universe, was what he preferred, as opposed to Prometheus and Covenant, that more like they got engineered. So it's just a matter of like, now they don't. I don't think they do anything that outright contradicts. So there's probably middle ground.
I don't think they outright contradict anything. I think they just sort of don't mention it at all.
Yeah, exactly. There's no Easter eggs for it.
This is. I don't know if you paid attention a lot to the timeline, Charles. I went and wrote down the timeline because I was referencing it a lot during the first episode.
Too, yeah.
This is set 2 years before the first Alien movie.
Yep.
Meaning and I was looking this up and I couldn't find it. My assumption is that the cast of the first movie is probably in hyperspace.
Yes.
Or hypersleep right now.
Yeah, they would. I would assume that they are. Actually, I forget how long the hyperspace takes.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that might. But yeah, so they're either in hyperspace or they hypersleep, or they will be within.
My guess is they're probably meant to already be that way because it's an easy way, bluntly, to just explain away, and maybe this is something they address in future episodes.
Yeah.
But I think it's an easy way to explain why the cast members in the future Alien movies don't know who the fuck Prodigy is.
Yeah, exactly. Which Prodigy is another company. So, we have Weyland Yutani, which, we know very well in Alien Universe. Prodigy is going to be another company that we really follow quite a bit here.
Yeah, it seems like that's going to be who this centers around. And now, obviously, I don't know how this ends. My guess is this ends in such a way that Prodigy's probably not around a ton anymore at the end of this, is kind of what Ivan guesses a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah, and so, another thing I'm going to say, obviously the alien, the xenomorph or whatever, that's the draw into the show. I'm going to say, at least as we'll go into the first couple episodes, the reality is it's there. This isn't a bait and switch, but the xenomorph is not the main thing in this show. And those of you like the big Alien fans, and this is what I think the reason for the difference between 72 and 95. I think there's probably some people that are upset maybe that it's not shown as much, or it's not the focal aspect of it. And I encourage people to have their minds opened, okay? Because I, for one, am just fine with the level of alien that we have seen. And and there's a lot of other things in the show that I'm way more invested in.
1,000%. And I'm also someone who, in horror movies, I think a lot of times less is more.
Yeah.
Especially when something's stalking you.
Yeah.
Not seeing it and it being behind something. It seems like more what the story of this is cyborg, synths, and what is it? Hybrids. Which I don't remember. Were all three of these in the future movies?
No.
I don't think.
No, really, it's only been synths. Okay. It's only been synths before. And, since aliens, artificial life forms.
Bishop, for example.
Cyborgs haven't really been in the aliens. A combination of human and technological. One of the main characters that we're going to see, one of the full-time cast members, I guess we'll say, guy named Moro. Moro, and then Timothy Olyphant's they're cyborgs. And then we have hybrids. This, to me, is the draw and is the entire show in terms of the idea behind hybrids is that they are synths, but there's human consciousness has been placed into it. And we see in this pilot episode, Prodigy, they're doing this kind of secretly, and they are going, and during the course of the episode, they put the first human consciousness into a synthetic being.
Yep. And that's really where the story of this revolves around. And I think the aliens are there, and I think the aliens are going to be more and more as this show goes on. And I'll continue going on with that. But basically, what the first episode is it's called Neverland.
Yeah.
Now, this show has a very big Peter Pan, reference.
Yes.
It's probably a good way, because a lot of the synths are named after Peter Pan.
Yeah, all the hybrids are.
Yeah, all the hybrids are. Because the first one's Wendy, and all the rest of them are the Lost Boys.
Yes.
From the Peter.
Yeah. One thing that's interesting, the first shot. So the first shot is of the ship. We get a couple early shots of the ship. We see basically the first shot is it's a shot-for-shot remake of the opening of the original Alien with the crew of this ship. Then the next time we meet Moro, who's the only one we're really going to see again. And then the next time we see the ship later in the episode, we know the ship is bringing back specimens. Next time we see the ship, their whole story is played out, and we haven't seen anything, and it's about ready to crash. This caused a little disjointedness for me as I was watching it. And so, that being said, I only have an issue if they don't go back and show us later.
Yeah, no, I get that. I think it was also meant to be just a quick bait and switch, kind of thing, where they spent a lot of time and money, bluntly, kind of making sure that first shot was so good. But then, other than Moreau, they don't use any of the rest of those characters. At least in the first 3 episodes, they don't use any of the rest of those characters. Yeah,
and honestly, my gut is that there's an episode either that's aired that we haven't watched, or that's going to air, that's going to be that story.
Because going in, I kind of knew that, but then I saw how much time they were spending on Tang, for example, and they were spending on some of the other characters there, and I was a little confused at kind of what.
Yeah. So I am betting that we'll see that, and probably the idea is they're doing a self-contained episode there, which in that case that would get rid of any type of confusion that I had. Yeah. So we see, kind of Wendy, and now we notice that these people that are going to be transfer consciousness. The interesting twist: they're not adults, are they?
No, they're kids. They're all like 12 and younger.
Yeah. And they're all dying of just, your various diseases. Mm-hmm. Unnamed, but they're all terminal. And this is also all done in the secret. All their families have been told they're dead. I mean, basically, Dad might have, the only way you're going to save your daughter is basically you say she died, and we do this, and so like the rest of the family then thinks that they die.
Exactly, because like what's going to come up later is that Wendy's brother, when she was a kid, thinks she's dead.
Yep.
And which is tough for him because all the rest of his family's dead also.
Yes, and so exactly, and so we see him earlier. We see Wendy go through this, and I really think it's and the idea is that they say is that kids are able to they're able to do this with kids because their minds are still expanding, less set in stone, and also like they're going to be putting in synthetic bodies, so they're going to be able to do a lot more. Their minds have way more abilities and stuff like that. So after Wendy does it, like you see her like jump off a goddamn side of a cliff or something. That's pretty cool.
It almost seems like they have like kind of some superhuman kind of strength and abilities and stuff. And I really like the cast of the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, because Timothy Olyphant's not the head. It would have been very easy to have him be the head just because of who he is. But he's kind of a side guy. I'm assuming he's going to push more and more forward as this goes. But basically, Prodigy's led by basically like probably someone around 18 years.
I think he's more like 25.
Is he more like 25?
I think, but he's young. He's young, one of the wonder kid kind of thing, that kind of thing. And he's the one spearheading. It's kind of weird, genius, obviously.
Doesn't take no for an answer.
Yes. One thing I love about these hybrids is that they're transferred. So now they're in these adult bodies, but they still have the minds of the kids. They still have minds of kids.
Yes.
And I really think in the first 3 episodes, these actors do a great job.
They do so good. Like that African American, the guy who's the African American guy with the beard.
I think it's Toodles,
Toodles,
maybe.
Yes. They are, and part of me wonders, and this might just be me remembering too much about the first or the second Alien movie. Because in the second Alien movie, Sigourney Weaver doesn't like Bishop because the first what do you call it? Synthetic went crazy and killed him. But then what is it? One of the people, one of the soldiers mentioned that. Oh yeah, there was a big Did they mention something about a revolution or there?
Basically, he was an old like the mob. They're the mob. Yeah,
he mentioned more than just that. Like that a lot of stuff had changed with synthetics. Part of me wonders if that's what we're.
Possibly, but like to me, like the whole exploration of what level of humanity do these hybrids have? Do they have souls? What things like that? To me, that is the draw of the show. There's a lot of other interesting stuff in it, but this exploration, and also as we'll get to, what happens when you put these adult bodies that can do a lot, but are still fucking kids in a situation where aliens are running around. Because I was very curious about this. I mean, you got to, and I will just say, I was not disappointed. I was not disappointed in how they had, and how it played, and how it's played out so far.
Yes. So the actors who play the Lost Boys specifically are so great.
Yeah, and also, just side note, I saw just leading up to the release, Timothy Olyphant, I saw this little clip on YouTube or something. Timothy Olyphant did an interview with Fallon or something like that. He mentioned that, because, he has like white hair, his eyebrows have been dyed white, he looks very, very unique. He actually had to go out to dinner with his wife, like looking like that, and his wife was not happy. He's like, his wife did not like that. But basically what's going to happen eventually during the course of the episode, because Wendy's done and then the other hybrids get done, and then we're checking in with that ship, and then the ship crashes.
Yep, and then the ship crashes, and basically the way Earth works now is that the 5 companies basically have the world divided up.
Yeah. And
so the ship, was it Yutani? The Yutani ship crashes into a Prodigy suit.
Yeah, and so, and this is kind of where the bulk of the second half of this episode takes place, is seeing this crash, and just the beginnings of some regular Prodigy soldiers kind of go, including Joe, which is Wendy's brother.
Exactly. Yep. And the other part of this is that Moreau is still alive. The rest of the crew died. He easily could have diverted this ship away from Earth, but did not, because the whole point of this was to get all these specimens.
Yeah, and these specimens are. It's interesting because again, in alien movies, we know we got the xenomorph and we got the face huggers. Yep. You only have a certain amount of time in a movie. When you're talking television show, you have a little bit more room to breathe. So we now have some new types of, including there's like these little tadpole guys.
Yeah, that poor cat.
We have kind of like it's like a red ball kind of.
Yeah, it was like a little tiny bug that Moreau had kind of thrown on the back of their neck.
Yeah. And then, which apparently is the other one, which apparently has become like a huge rave among people watching, eyeball octopus. Eyeball octopus is exactly the way it sounds like. Big old eyeball with 8 tentacles. It's kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. I like the eyeball octopus.
No, the eyeball octopus is really cool.
And so, so Joe's a medic. Also, know. Wendy is obsessed with following her brother, like on videos and stuff like that.
And what the CEO and some of them are, the other doctors are realizing too, is that Wendy has more abilities than they do.
Yes.
Also. Is that, for example, when she's watching a feed, she can change the feed to other feeds, and they didn't give that to her.
Yeah, and that without having to do anything.
Yeah. She just touches the monitor and moves it like she's scrolling fucking what do you call it? TikTok.
Yeah, and at one point she even is able to manipulate the thing responding to Joe, because Joe's trying to get out of his contract because he basically got accepted to become a doctor.
Yep.
And so he's trying to do it, and the company's like, yeah, fuck you. But she's able to manipulate it a little bit to answer back, kind of makes him like wonder a little bit about his family.
Yeah, and so that takes us through a lot of this episode.
Yeah.
And basically, what Wendy's also supposed to be to these kids is she's supposed to be, which is kind of, I thought was unfair to her. They're like, hey, be their big sister and like help them grow up. But like, she had only been in her body like a week.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
So
it has not been long.
It wasn't fair whatsoever.
Yeah, so we kind of see these soldiers start to, investigate. Morrow comes out, the surviving cyborg from, because as we saw Crash, he interacts with Mother being, if you're familiar with the Alien movies, the computer basically that gives orders for the benefit of the company, Weyland-Yutani.
Yep.
And so his goal is to secure the specimens.
Exactly. Yep. His goal is to secure the specimens at any cost. He's trying to get Yutani in to get the specimens too. And since he's a cyborg, he has all the data on him, but he needs to get the specimens.
Yeah, and so we haven't seen much of the alien. We've gotten a few snippets in the Crash, but we do see Morrow runs into a couple soldiers. He kind of gets them zip tied, and that's where we see some of our first specimen in action.
Exactly. Yeah, we see, and I couldn't tell if it was him that dropped it on the guy's neck or if it was just a bug.
I think it was released. Yeah, it was released in the Crash, and yeah. And so it went. Oh yeah, it went, and it killed him. We see later, basically, it gestates. Yes, total cool. It's like a large tadpole thing. Really cool design.
Oh yes, and they did a really good job with special effects.
Oh yeah, the production value here is top notch. The episode ends with basically Wendy wants to go in to save her brother, and she kind of helps. Timothy Olyphant kind of convinced the head of Prodigy, hey, let's send all the hybrids in to secure the specimens.
Yeah, because they're adults now.
Yeah, and so that's kind of how episode 1 ends, is with the hybrids ready to go in and kind of en route. And this is where I said it did not disappoint. Now, it is beyond stupid. Now, I'm not talking about stupid television design. No, this is great television design. It is beyond stupid to send in a bunch of people that have child's minds.
Oh, it's incredibly dumb.
To secure these specimens, but you know what? I am here for it because it was entertaining as shit.
Oh, it was entertaining as shit. But let's also take it away. Let's say they don't know the specimen to it.
Yeah.
Okay. You're still sending children in to a spaceship that crashed into, what is it, a 50-story building?
Yeah.
It's like all of that's going to fall.
Yeah. And again, these are like between 9 and 12-year-old kids mentally. They're like, they suddenly, like, there's weird elements to them because they also have this kind of an artificial element at sometimes to their conscience. But again, there's still so much kids. They fight, they mess around.
Well, because they also try and be mature, which is kind of cool. It's like it doesn't disappoint whatsoever.
Yeah, and so it's really funny. So we get to see some of these again, the soldiers, Joe's they're kind of, some of them have we know the ones that with the bug had died and kind of died. And so as the hybrids are entering, Wendy wants to go to look for her brother.
Yeah, Wendy wants to go look for her brother, and Timothy Olyphant, I forget the guy's name, but he sends one of the Lost Boys with him.
Yes, sends one of the Lost Boys with her, and meanwhile we see Joe's like there's like this point where like this big giant chasm where like Joe's with two other soldiers, and like the other two jump, but then like the alien like. Joe, I'm not gonna let Joe take a goddamn beating in these next couple episodes from these aliens. Like it's part
of me, and part of me wonders if he ends up as a synth or a cyborg or something like that, just from beating the healer's ass.
Yeah, I know, right? So because like the alien, he's in the middle of jumping on the alien's tail, just like doesn't impale him.
Because basically, what they're in is they're in like a what do you call a wraparound staircase where a lot of them are broken, so they have to jump from one side to the other.
Yeah, and so again, so we find during the course of this, as some of the other people, they're kind of looking for. Some of the specimens, a couple of the Lost Boys, a hybrid. They encounter some of these, like the octopus eyeball.
It seems like they found. Probably, my assumption is when they're on the ground floor, Timothy Olyphant saw where the lab was.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Okay, we're gonna go look in the lab." So him and the four other Lost three or four.
One of them doesn't go.
Yeah, basically he goes with. They go with to the lab to start looking for specimens and stuff to take.
Yeah, and then a couple end up breaking off. First, like on their own at one point, just because that's when they encounter like the loose. Because we've now seen like the octopus alien, what it does
to like kind of went ahead.
Yeah, and it's just whatever. So we had seen with a soldier, because the soldiers kind of the point of these soldiers is so that we see how these specimens kill people, which is kind of fun. And also big cannon fodder because they're not ready to kill kids and adults.
They need to build up to kill them.
Yeah, I will say if a hybrid doesn't die by a xenomorph, it will lower the show by 2.5 full stars.
My prediction is there's not.
Yeah. That being said, I am fully confident that they are going to, in fact, because they're going to do. It's going to be an emotional moment. I am very confident but they don't want to just throw away.
They're doing it right and building it up to the right.
Yeah,
spot.
Honestly, the first one they kill will probably be like Toodles. And so, like, they're building Toodles. Toodles, what? Like, he's the one.
The African American one.
I think either that or from. There's one that's kind of from Asia, like Indian.
Okay.
And he's the one that we'll get to in episode 3. He's talking to Moro and stuff like that. That's Toodles.
Yes.
And so I think he's the first one to die because that's the gut punch.
Yes.
It's because we love Toodles. Toodles is great.
Yeah, I think so.
But then, so these, again, kids in adult bodies, they see this octopus alien running around. They're freaking out.
But also, before they freak out, they're freaking out before that. You know why? They've never seen a goddamn cat before.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They see a cat that's really fucked up.
Yeah.
Because the what do you call it? Octopus eyeball is in the cat's eyeball.
Yeah.
And the cat's all kind of ripped apart a little bit, and I'm assuming in this day and age it was all AI.
Yeah.
But
CGI.
These kids were kind of a little freaked out already because they had never seen a cat before.
Yeah. Yes.
And then the cat's eyeball explodes out of his face.
Yes. And then that whole thing, they end up trapping it kind of on a, like a pot or,
or like a
container. Container.
Like that poor I forget the guy's name. The African American guy with the beard was so fucking scared.
Yeah.
He grabs grabs something and just sort of sits there.
Yeah. And so, again, it's really, really funny because, again, a lot of these hybrids, they're not remotely competent. Why? Because, again, they're kids. They're not competent at all, and it's fun.
Well, it's fun. And, yeah, realistically, they shouldn't have sent them into this, but also, to play devil's advocate, the CEO didn't know this was an alien situation.
This is
but
fair.
Also, it's a building that's going to fall down. I probably wouldn't have sent a kid in that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But and then because during the course of this, we get a bit of a flashback to how Joe's day went, and that's kind of when we see the leave he requested to leave and stuff like that. So we get a bunch of background. We also see as she's trailing, as Wendy's getting close to Joe. Yeah, I don't know if it's her heightened senses. Her heightened senses, or if there's something else at play, but it's almost as if she can hear the aliens more than others.
Well, it seems like she can almost hear them talk.
Yeah.
Which has never been a thing before.
No. So I'm curious if that's just simply a hybrid thing, but we haven't seen the other hybrids have that kind of...
No other hybrids had that.
So it's interesting. I'm curious to see how that, how that played out. And so and so when the two came in, the octopus, they found the dead soldiers as well. So they've had kind of a, I'm like, again, I wrote down these are adult bodies and their abilities, but these are still scared shitless kids.
It's yeah. And then was it Hermit is currently with, and what I started doing just for ease at breaking this down, I called Timothy Olyphant and the 4 Lost Boys 4T. I called the 1 Lost Boy 1W. But yeah, it's at this point the brother is with 2 soldiers. Is that what it is?
At this point, we get to the point where the brothers basically where the soldiers are gone. It's just the brother, and they also this ship is in a building, so some of this transitions they briefly transition to where they're in the building, but not on
their job is to knock on people's doors and get them the hell out of there before more than likely this building falls.
Yeah, and it's kind of because Joe encounters this party, it's like a wig part, literally they have powdered wigs and powdered faces, and they're not having it. They're just
he's on some really rich.
Yeah,
that's what he is.
Yeah, and so he goes in. They just tell him no.
They basically tell him to fuck off. We're not leaving.
Yeah, and then we transition to another thing, and when we come back, Joe's going in there, but the alien had already made it in there. We didn't see this, but I wrote down that alien made short work of that party.
The alien ripped apart 20 people in 30 seconds.
Yeah, which was great. I laughed my ass off. The alien made short work of the party, and so then at that point, it's just the brother and the alien. At least he has a gun. I'm but he gets saved by.
He gets saved by Moreau.
Yep. And so he has like, and he has this cool guy. He just knocks the alien out unconscious.
He has like some sort of freeze thing, or some sort of like webbing or some shit on his gun that he uses to kind of
exactly. Yeah, he uses two things. One that knocks it unconscious, like a freeze thing or hypersonic, and then the second thing that webs it up and like
he uses the first thing on what he call Herman as well.
And then he bags it up and takes, it starts dragging the alien like bag slung over his shoulder style.
Exactly. He starts taking is it right outside he runs into the other soldiers?
Yeah, right outside he runs.
Outside he runs into some other soldiers who basically they see the alien moving and they think it's a person. They think he's like fucking kidnapping somebody or some shit. And they're like, yeah, you need to, like, show your hands. And he's like, this is a horrible idea.
Yeah. Yeah, because these are the soldiers. Because remember, Joe got separated from them during the leap, during the jump. And so these are those two soldiers. And yeah, that alien does not stay caged long. And thus endeth those soldiers. Those soldiers are not going to be full-time cast members.
No, well, they are done.
Yes.
But we also have a very, very important point on this. The alien decides not to kill Moreau.
Yeah.
Which I think they're going to explain at some point. Because the alien's done that a couple times.
Yes.
To him. My guess is that it's a cyborg thing. And that my guess is the reason the aliens go after people is to implant.
Yeah, because
my guess is that he senses the technology, and he doesn't think that the alien doesn't think that he can put the what do you call it, seed inside him.
Yeah, and then so Joe's still in the place, and he finds a baseball, which we've seen through in the early things. Joe has a connection to baseball, and and that's when Wendy and Joe
meet up. Wendy and Joe meet up. Isn't it in that she runs into that room?
Yeah.
But also, one thing I found fascinating was obviously the room is still really fucked up. But I found it very interesting that she was not traumatized by this room at all.
Yeah, no.
It just seemed like like dismembered bodies was just a normal thing.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I found most disturbing about this whole thing was that, but over the course of this is basically she's not supposed to, but her does she tell him that
she doesn't tell him what she does? No, it's because remember, I think it was Toodles that got sent with her, and Toodles, which this happened early. Right. This happened earlier. I think it might have even been episode 1, 2. Yeah, Toodles cannot fucking keep a secret to save his life.
Yeah,
it takes him a second to just tell Joe everything, about the whole thing with the hybrids, that Wendy's his sister. I was gonna build over the course of the season. No, Toodle just fucking spills the beans.
No, I thought that was hilarious, and how Wendy was like pissed, and they leave They leave Toodles there.
Yeah,
because doesn't Joe take off?
Well, no. What happened? Exactly first they start going, and they
that's right. They don't leave Toodles. They leave Toodles in the other spot.
Yeah, because they get to a point where
they find 6 pods.
Yeah, 6 pods, which we know have face huggers. Yeah, and they leave Toodles there.
Has face huggers. They're not scared.
No.
I'm kind of surprised that Herman isn't scared, but. That's okay. He's a soldier. We'll say he's a soldier.
He's a medic. Joe's a medic. So,
but they should have a big fear of these fucking things. They will in short order when these things happen.
Yeah, and so during the course of from the time that they met him to the time that they get to the pod area, Joe's asking questions that only Wendy can know.
Yeah, because basically he wants to make sure this isn't some elaborate lie or some shit, and she passes all.
Yeah, and so the episode ends on a cliffhanger when they're kind of in that pod place, and the alien just full on tackles Joe and takes him down like an open elevator, takes him down an open elevator shaft, and then Wendy just runs and dive bombs after him.
Yeah.
Leaving Toodles there. Funny thing though, in this there was one went back up to the other group, Tilly Oliphant. I just wrote down at one point he shouts, "Stop acting like children." I'm thinking like they are children.
No, I think Timothy Oliphant does it.
He does.
He was so expert because he has the acting chops to handle this, but he's not such a big actor that he's going to overshadow anybody.
Yeah, and so episode 3 I thought was like the first. It really kind of feels like two different episodes, I'm not really. So first we're resolving the cliffhanger. We get Wendy's going after Joe. Joe, she finds Joe, and Joe's kind of like he's not cocooned, but he's like plastered with like.
And he keeps screaming, "It's a trap! It's a trap! It's a trap!" It's right, and Wendy's a fucking idiot.
Yeah,
because she's 12 years old.
Yeah,
because basically what Joe's trying to say is that no, this thing trapped me to capture.
To lure it to get you, which again I thought was cool. Not something we've seen we have seen in primaries that these aliens are intelligent.
Yes,
so it's not like these aren't just dumb animals. These are intelligent and they have really good stalking technique. It's just cool to see them set a trap like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like so they get free, and then the thing like they don't have any guns or anything. Joe gets stabbed big time by the alien's tail. Yeah.
Joe gets fucking just ripped in half.
Yeah, and so it's again one of my favorite. But this whole fight is one of my favorite fight sequences in Aliens because like Wendy has these tongs, kind of gets these tongs, and she's able to snag that alien tongue thing, and she's dragging it slowly by the tongue. They're trying to get it in the elevator and get it closed and trapped. And I just love that sequence. It was so cool.
It was so good.
And so like they ended up getting it, but Wendy gets in. She gets injured.
And is this? Oh, did we skip over the part where Moreau talks to Toodles?
I think it was right after this.
It's right after this. Okay.
Yeah, the two. Yeah, so basically, Wendy the alien in the end gets trapped in there, but she's in there alone with it first, behind closed doors. Joe gets it open. Both of them get out. The aliens close in, but Wendy is definitely hurt.
Yeah,
so is Joe.
Yeah, they're both really fun.
Yeah, and then we transition to where
because that's right, because they left Toodles down by the pods.
Yeah, and then
I've been expected Toodles to die here.
Yeah, because Toodles is standing. Another hybrid joins them. Then so does they're goofing around. Then Morrow shows up.
Yeah, Morrow shows up, and yeah.
I wrote like, damn, it was a stupid idea to send the kid adults, but goddamn, it makes for good TV.
The actors do such a good job acting like kids.
Yeah, because like when the two of them there, they start getting distracted. They start play wrestling with each other, arguing as kids. And this whole conversation with Morrow is really good because Morrow at this point has no knowledge of hybrids. He clearly knows they're not human, that they're synths.
He knows something's up and he knows what the hell's going on.
But he is so confused about them acting like kids, talking about their parents,
Because the one who joins Toodles looks like he's 45.
Yeah.
is the thing. He looks like his parents would be 70.
Yeah. And so he's like really confused, and he does like it's like if the soldiers, he was all just ready to kill, but not these because they're synthetic life form. And also, again, you notice that none of these pods are reacting in one way, which I think alludes to your earlier point of the aliens not attacking the synths, because I think these pods can recognize human, and we get confirmation later on in the episode, but they recognize basically humans versus things that can't.
Exactly, which is a good next step for them to show in these movies. Yeah. It's a good, easy next step that wouldn't contradict anything in the first two Alien movies. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's not. You just had the one rope,
Yeah.
they call it synthetic.
Yeah, so like Morrow threatens him. He downloads like the ship
Yeah,
information.
he downloads because I think what Morrow's doing is he's going around from computer to computer, making sure he has all the data.
Yeah, but he does escape, and then at this point we see, like, I think they kind of fast forward a bit because
I like that.
yeah, same.
Basically, they fast forwarded. Once Morrow leaves, they fast forward to the point where the Lost Boys, Timothy Olyphant, basically when they leave. They fast forward when like all the Lost Boys are good. They take out the brother and Wendy on stretchers. The soldiers that are left end up because the African American lady with the red hair joins them, and I think someone else. They take everybody who's left with them, and they all go back to that island.
And not just that, but they've secured all specimens,
Yep.
and they have the alien.
Yes.
They have the alien on a forklift that they've got unconscious. And again, you might be like, but because the TV show, they have limited episodes. I assume there's probably 8, but just day and age. And so they've shown us a lot of the goods here. They're now ready to move on, and a lot of this, the rest of this episode is going to feel transition.
It feels like they're transitioning now to. It seems like the next few episodes are going to be on the island, and the first main guests are going to be when.
Probably.
My assumption is that the pods, and I don't know. I'm not. My guess is that the pods are going to burst, and one of those two doctors, the doctor with the beard or the female doctor, are going to be the first ones.
Yeah. And so, and also, for the most part, really until the very end, Wendy is unconscious the rest of the episode. We get to learn a little bit more, a little more screen time for a couple of these hybrids, which I think is good.
Yeah, I kind of developed the characters a little bit.
There's one that doesn't. There's a couple of them have some resentments to Wendy, kind of as she's a favorite, and one of them's not so much resentments to Wendy. I think she has reddish hair. She's pissed because she was given a boy's name because they all why do they all have to be Peter Pan?
Yeah. And looking at it, all of these actors who played the Lost Boys are so good because the lady who's the red hair is so good at being freaked out.
Yeah, and we get a little bit of Morrow. Morrow's kind of out there, and he's told by Wayland Yutani that, hey, no, you're done, come back. But he's like, I don't have a family anymore. They're all dead. This is my life's work. I'm doing this, and he realizes what they are, hybrids, and so he starts to make contact
with
Toodles.
Yeah, with Toodles, and
starts to try to build a bridge because again, Toodles a dumb fucking kid, and so Wendy kind of awakes towards the end. They're doing surgery on Joe. Again, she has a weird connection to these aliens because she's coming at the end of the episode. She's coming in to the lab with the specimens
because they're dissecting one of the eggs.
One of the huggers. Yes.
One of the huggers.
Yeah,
don't they do an egg too?
Well, no, it's they had taken a hugger out of the thing, and inside the hugger, the very, very small, which I think which we can assume is what gets implanted in the host, and that's when she's screaming, not screaming, internally, she's reacting. She ends up collapsing, and that's kind of how how the episode ends. So yeah. So what do you? So I thought this was a great.
I thought it was phenomenal. I thought, bluntly, it's bad timing. I think part of it for it because I know you're not anymore big into the Emmy stuff. You know when the Emmy nomination, you know when the Emmys are?
I think
in a week.
Oh, that's right.
And so what's tough is I think that this show is going to have half in one, half in the other, and I don't think they're going to get any Emmy nominations. Now, I don't see them getting. I would have seen them getting writing. I think would have seen, assuming Timothy Olyphant's in the whole thing and he doesn't die.
Yeah,
I see him getting a nomination just based on his prior history,
justified.
Probably Wendy too, but this shows him.
Yeah, it's really, really good. It's on Hulu. But it's so. What do you think, diamond or a dud?
Oh, it's a diamond. Everybody should watch it, even if you're not a huge fan of horror stuff. I wouldn't say there's a ton of like. They make a point of like the gross stuff is off camera for the most. Like we described that party scene, they don't show it.
No, it's just the aftermath.
For the most part, unless you're super sensitive to it, which is fine, you do your own. But for the most part, they don't show a bunch of the.
Yeah, because this director, and he's in the school of. He's trying to emulate the original Alien, which was leave as much as you can to the imagination.
We didn't do this yet. Do you want to describe our system?
Yeah. So we have diamonds, we have duds. With it, diamonds, legitimately good movies, or shows. Duds, it's bad. But within that, within both, there's ratings. Diamond from 1 to 5. Diamond 1 is like, all right, it's a good enough movie. I don't know if I'll revisit it very often. But Diamond 5 is like, it's a masterpiece. Same with Dud. Dud 1 is, blow my brains out metaphorically. I'd rather, eat turpentine and piss on a fire than watch this again. Whereas the higher it goes, it's it's bad, but so bad it's good. And it's still entertaining in a kind of way.
I would say I would probably make this a diamond. And it's going to seem low, but just because I'm only 3 episodes in, I'd probably say 3.
Yeah, I'm right now. I'm about a 4.5.
Yeah.
Again, we'll see what happens. I firmly believe that they're going to kill somebody off, and they're building up our enjoy. And I firmly believe there's going to be a full standalone episode with that ship. And so that's why I'm not taking anything out for either one of those, because I think we're going to build to both of those things. So I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it.
I thought this was great. I'm absolutely going to watch the rest of this. I might wait for the rest of them to be done.
I think although 6.
But I'll probably watch it immediately because I know you're not a ton on TikTok, but I have a tendency to get ruined about everything fucking on TikTok. So, yeah.
That's TikTok. So, what do we got next time?
Next time we have Idiocracy. Both of us have seen, but both of us have not seen in a really, really, really long time.
And as I watched it, I'll tell you what, I realized I had not seen the whole thing.
Oh.
I had seen parts of it. So we'll see that. So Idiocracy, classic by Mike Judge, Luke Wilson, and a whole bunch of other people that began the show. Yeah. So
Terry Allen Cruz.
Shia LaBeouf.
Oh, was he in there?
He's an extra. Yeah, we'll get to that.
Have a good one.
Bye.